Okay, welcome to another Orbiter 2010 video. And in this video I'm here at Cape Canaveral on runway 15. And if you're observant, you'll notice that I'm sitting up a little bit higher than I would be normally. And that's because I'm in the XR5. What I'm going to do in this video is attempt to do something along the lines of a speed run from KSC to Wideawake International. And that's kind of funny doing that because we're basically flying what I would pretty much consider the equivalent of a tank, whereas, you know, the XR2 is kind of more like a Ferrari or something. So I don't expect this to go very fast, but let's just jump in and get going here. I will mention that this is the a completely default XR5. I haven't changed anything. I haven't reduced even the locks. So I'm carrying way more locks than I need. And, you know, when I set up the XR2 speed run, you know, I got rid of all the locks, eliminated a bunch of crew, reduced the APU, reduced the scram, and so on. But for this first attempt here, I'm just going to do everything here with the default settings. Let's see how it goes. I have almost no experience flying the XR5 at all, let alone in the atmosphere, so I don't expect this to go really well, but we'll see. See what happens. So let's turn surface controls on, and I'm going to go ahead and set the scram all the way to maximum. It turns out that it's a little bit, you get a bit of a speed boost doing that even while you're sitting on the runway. It's a very small speed boost, but if you're trying, you know, to do speed runs, then every bit of speed you can get, you want. Alright, so I think we've got everything ready to go. Let's go full throttle on the main. Gosh, just rolling down the runway is crazy.
V1.
There's V1, so we'll kind of throttle back a bit, rotate, pitch up, get ready to raise the landing gear.
Gear wheels locked. Gear up.
Back to full throttle on the main.
Gear up and locked.
And we want a heading. It's been a while since I've actually done this, but I believe it's like 109, 108, something like that. Okay, we'll roll out and pitch up. And we got a second or two here. We can take a look at the external view. See the gigantic XR5 climbing. Inside and switch HUD colors, and let's begin pitching down now. I'm gonna fly the profile basically as if I were flying the XR2. Just, I imagine everything will be a little bit slower because this vessel is much more massive and you can feel it. Everything is just sluggish and less responsive.
Mach 1.
Okay, there's Mach 1. And we'll level out here around 11 kilometers to pick up some horizontal speed so we can get ready to get more use out of those scram engines. It'll be especially interesting to see how the XR5 behaves during the inverted Super Cruise portion of the flight. You know, will it grab the atmosphere as well as the XR2? Alright, let's begin our climb. Climbing a little too much there. Over on this MFD, I'm going to change it to that mode. That way I can keep track of my alignment with Wideawake. I can see that I'm a bit to the right, so I'm going to roll to the left here just a little bit. Let's pay attention to our climb. Now we're starting to get some use out of those scram engines. So we got to watch our climb.
Mach 4. Mach 5.
Go ahead and put in a little bit of left bank now, so we just keep ourselves pretty well aligned. Watching the temperature readout there in the center, just making sure that we kind of stay out of the red.
Mach 7. Mach 8.
A little bit easier to keep this vessel, but let's watch our hull temperature.
Warning, hull temperature. Mach 9.
Pitch up to keep that under control.
Warning, hull temperature.
Okay, we're about lined up now, so let's go back to center position here.
Mach 10.
I started to say it's a little bit easier to control the climb with the XR5, just due to the fact that
Mach 11.
I guess it doesn't accelerate quite as fast, so you don't get into that zone of overheating. Do our rollover now because we are climbing
Mach 12.
more than we need to be.
Mach 13.
Scram diffuser temperature still relatively low, but that's going to heat up pretty quick.
Mach 14.
We're almost level. Vertical speed's almost 0.
Mach 15.
And we don't want to descend.
Mach 16.
Go ahead and roll back over.
Mach 17. Warning, hull temperature.
Yeah,
Warning, hull
uh-oh.
temperature.
We're getting awfully hot.
Warning, Mach hull temperature.
I think we'll be okay now.
Warning, hull temperature.
Gotta watch the vertical speed though.
Warning, hull temperature.
Alright.
Warning, scram temperature.
Okay, scram engines are overheating. Let's
Warning,
close up those
scram
doors.
engines overheating. Mach system 20. Reset.
Okay, so the scram portion of the
Mach
flight's
21.
over. Let's go ahead and dump that excess scram then, because it's just dead weight at this point.
Mach 22. Warning, fuel dump.
And we'll cross feed. And we need to pitch down a bit. We're
Warning, fuel dump. Mach 23.
got a lot of vertical speed, and we're
Warning, fuel dump.
getting close to that 70-kilometer point. And in fact, let's put in some center of gravity shift
Warning,
now.
fuel dump. Mach 24. Warning, fuel dump.
More center of gravity shift.
Warning, fuel dump. Mach 25. Warning, fuel dump.
Okay, we've got the vertical speed under control.
Warning, fuel dump.
I'm going to turn this off for now because I need
Cross
to
speed off. Warning,
back up to the
fuel
top.
dump. Mach 26. Warning, scram fuel low. Warning, fuel dump. Warning, scram fuel depleted.
Okay, we are a bit off track with Wideawake,
Mach
so let's
27 plus.
get that squared away. Now I'm guessing I'm not going to be able to slow down as quickly, so I don't think we can take this all the way out to 12,000 meters a second like we do with the XR2. I'm just going to go up to 10,000. Watch my vertical speed. Need a bit more center of gravity shift. And we're getting into some trouble here with our vertical speed. More center of gravity shift. Okay, we're descending. I'm gonna have to go MECO here like really soon because we are almost out of gas. What was it, about 9,800? I feel like that might be a little bit too soon, but 27% remaining. So we're gonna have a longer Super Cruise phase than we would obviously in the XR2 because we went MECO much sooner. Alright, now let me work on my alignment with Wideawake because it's pretty far off at the moment. Pitching into the atmosphere a bit more because the vertical speed's climbing. I like to keep that really close to zero because you just lose control so quickly. 5,500 kilometers out from Wideawake, so we've got a ways to go.
Information. APU fuel 90%.
So if I do this again, I'm going to reconfigure the vessel so that I'm only carrying no more than 50% scram. I think that's what I saw. I think I, had about 55-60% even left over. So dumping about 50% of the scram will make the flight a little bit more efficient. We've got our alignment now. You can see over there with the glide slope MFD on the lower right that we're now 0.3, which means we're actually missing it now in the other direction, but that's okay. And locks, obviously, we're not going to need more than 40 minutes of locks. We can also reduce the crew. And I'm not sure about the APU. Obviously, it doesn't need to be 100%. Otherwise, it's not too different from the XR2 version of this flight. It's just everything's a little slower and a little more sluggish. But in some regards, it actually makes the flight a little bit easier, because it gives you more time to think and more time to control, especially your temperature stuff. Okay, we're 4,400 kilometers out. Something we can think ahead, start thinking ahead on is the attitude hold. So I'll set that to pitch. And we'll set it to about 45 degrees, and then we'll adjust as needed. "4,000 kilometers out. And again, with the alignment of the runway at Wideawake, it's 120 degree alignment, so if we arrive a little bit north of the island, we're better off than if we were to arrive a little bit south. Keeping an eye on the vertical speed, we're at about 20 meters a second. but I feel that I have good control, so I'm not too worried about anything there. Question is, will we have enough fuel to do the braking burn? We only need to slow down by 1,1500 meters a second, technically. 3,500 kilometers out. Now, we can actually push things a little bit farther since we are traveling slower. So we don't necessarily need to flip over at 3,000 like I think that's around the time I usually do it. But we will get thinking about that here. Now the XR5 is more massive, and landing it could be it could be a little different. Again, I have very, very little experience with the XR5. Done a few missions from Mars out to Jupiter with it, but as far as anything from Earth, I haven't really done anything with it. At least I haven't recorded videos of it. I've played around with it a little bit off camera. And I have very little atmospheric experience with this vessel. So let's go down to 2,700 kilometers, which will be just here shortly. And then we'll start raising our altitude a bit. Let's get ready. So let's Alt-M to zero out the center of gravity. Begin climbing a bit. Watching that vertical speed, not let it get out of control. Switch over to rotation.
Translation. Rotation. Pitch.
Okay, we are at 73 kilometers. Altitude, 100 meters a second. .75 kilometers, need to get a little higher. Okay. Let's pitch down into the Earth. And while pitched down into the Earth, we eliminate our vertical speed. And now we pull back to retrograde. That's ugly.
APU running.
Don't want to climb, that's for sure. No, not above. There we go. Now we'll burn till we're out of fuel, basically. Keeping an eye on aerobrake MFD as our guide. Watching the vertical speed over in this area since I don't have surface MFD open. Kind of fighting the controls here a bit. Watching aerobrake MFD over on the left to make sure that I don't burn down too much.
Information.
Okay, we're almost there.
Running.
So we could have taken our velocity out a bit farther than what I did.
25.
It's almost time to cut the engines though. You can see an aerobrake MFD.
Mach 24.
Yeah, we're gonna have a long glide phase. In fact, let me cut the engines now. Let's turn around. Actually, let's keep this open so we know where prograde's at. And since we're still 1,000 kilometers out, I think we can actually glide a while before we engage the attitude hold.
Information.
So
APU running.
we can definitely go faster than
Mach 23.
whatever my Miko was here, I don't recall. So for now we'll just glide at this altitude so we have little air resistance. But let's make sure we're not climbing. Yeah, vertical speed's negative 100, that's fine. So let's go ahead and engage attitude hold, but let's set it really low for the moment. Okay, we're getting pretty close actually. Let's increase our angle of attack now. Actually, we're going to overdo it here because our vertical speed's gone positive and we're climbing. That's not
Mach
good.
22.
A bit more. We're 500 kilometers out, 550 kilometers out. I think I'm going to overshoot. You can see here, according to Aerobrake MFD, we're passing the island by quite a bit, and I'm almost maxed out on my angle of attack.
21.
See if opening the air brake does any good. With our angle of attack being what it is, it probably won't matter now, but as I get lower in the atmosphere, it might help. There's the island.
Mach 20.
Coming in pretty far to the north. Probably gonna have to actually go past it, come around and come back in. Yeah, I'm not gonna
19.
descend quickly enough to get down there and land, so I'm gonna have to go around. Are we at 20 minutes?
Mach 18.
Have to keep an eye on the temperature. Shouldn't be an issue. We're all the way down to 5,600 meters a second, but we are descending awfully fast.
Mach 17.
Yeah.
Mach 16.
We're at 52 kilometers.
Mach 15.
Vertical speed still increasing.
Information.
We might burn
APU
up.
Fuel 80%.
We might burn
Mach
up.
14.
Nope, we're not going to burn up. Good.
Mach 13.
Okay, now I just need to slow down so I can turn around and go back to the island.
Mach 12.
Okay, don't have to worry about temperature.
Mach 11. Mach 10.
I'm going to close the air brake because when I
9.
slow down, I need the speed to get back.
Mach 8.
Okay, in fact, let's
Mach 7.
turn on surface controls,
Off.
off RCS,
Mach 6.
disengage, and let's start.
Warning, wing stress.
Actually, we need to go this way.
System reset. Mach 5.
If we're going to turn around and get back to the island without spending an eternity doing it, we need to hold on to some of this vertical, horizontal speed. So pulling back hard, as hard as I can without overstressing the wings.
Mach 4.
And also, we don't want to descend too much now because we would like to keep up here in the thinner air.
Mach 3.
And since I've got the fuel, and since I don't want this to take forever, I'm going to use whatever fuel I've got left to get over to the island faster. Okay, there's the island. Start rolling out. We are 51 kilometers out. Or 230 kilometers according to the HUD.
Mach 2.
Alright, let's use this remaining main engine fuel to get over there quicker.
Mach 2.
And we'll stay here around 20 kilometers altitude.
Mach 3.
I do want to watch the speed though. I don't want to go too fast because then I won't be able to brake in front of the island fast enough. But given our current distance from the island, I think we're going to be okay for now.
Mach 4.
Might be able to run out all this fuel. Yeah, we'll just go ahead and run all the fuel out.
Mach 1. Warning. Main fuel low. System reset.
Okay, so we're back up to 1,600 meters a second, and we are 150 kilometers out. $1,700 meters a second. 130 kilometers to go. Let's kill the engines. So we need time to slow down.
Mach 5.
You can see I'm pretty far to the north of the runway, so I'm just going to do a hard 90-degree turn here, roll. Wherever the velocity vector is pointed, that's where we are going, and we're currently not going the right way, so that's the reason for this aggressive roll.
Mach 4.
Okay, we're almost in front of the runway, 60 kilometers out, still moving at 1,000 meters a second. Okay, velocity vector's over the base now. And we'll
Mach
roll out,
3.
and we'll go for the long runway, which is going to be the one in the center. Still moving at 700 meters a second. Still supersonic. 35
Mach
kilometers
2.
out. I guess that's probably 35 kilometers from the center of the base, probably where the radio beacon's at. Okay, we're still a bit to the right, so let's 26 minutes.
Subsonic.
Mission timer. Will probably be down around a half hour, because it'll probably take another 3-4 minutes to get down. So really, it's not that much slower. I mean, if I hadn't overshot the island, I mean, we'd be down by now. So interesting little bit of information there, using this tank for this speed run. You lose so much time on the landing, on the actual, final, approach and all that.
5,000.
Almost down.
4,000. $3,000.
Guess I could have burned through that little bit of fuel I had left to speed this up a little bit. Down to 140 meters a second velocity though, so we're not actually too far above stall speed on this, I don't believe, so we gotta watch it.
2,000.
So I won't be deploying the gear until we're
You are
basically
cleared to land.
coming up to the runway, because we'll increase our drag when the gear comes down. Yeah, I mean, I feel heavy at this point. I feel like I'm
1,000.
really stretching.
900.
Alright, gotta pay attention.
800. 700.
I think we'll be okay.
600. 500. 400. 300. Warning, gear is up. Down. 200.
Gear.
Warning, gear is up. 75.
Watching the vertical
gear
speed.
Down and locked. 15. 2.
Oh, that sucks.
100 knots.
Didn't get the gear all the way
Warning,
deployed.
gear is up.
Well, that's a bummer.
System reset.
The gear didn't finish coming down before I actually touched down, and I was a little fast anyway. I could see that I was about 11 or 12 meters a second, so that's probably gear failure, even if it had deployed. Let's check. Yeah, that still would have been a gear failure, even if they had come all the way down. So yeah, it definitely, the characteristics of the XR5 for coming in for landing are, definitely different than the XR2. The XR2 glides so much that, you can just sort of dive into the runway, and you still got all the horizontal speed you need to flare out at the end. You can't quite do that with the XR5. Alright, well, if you liked this video, leave a comment down below. Let me know what you thought. I might try this again some other day. And if you're not already subscribed to this channel and you like the content, go ahead and hit that subscribe button so that you can be notified when I upload new videos. I also have a Facebook page. The link for that is in the description down below. You don't get to see everything here on YouTube because I can only post videos, but on my Facebook page you get to see articles, different pictures that I put up, links to other things, so it's a little bit more, there's a little bit more going on there on the Facebook page. So if you're interested in all this space stuff, check that out as well. And I will see you in the next video.